Hello friends, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator and another video. It's been a while since we took the 146 Professional for a spin, and today that's what we are going to do. Besides, Just Flight released an update that introduced failures to 146 Professional. It is great to see that Just Flight is still behind their products, and this is one of my favorite aircraft, and now it has the failures. It's much more fun to fly, although I need to find some non-normal checklists to learn what to do when a failure happens or when a system fails. As of now I don't have it, so in this flight we won't be simulating any of those failures. Even though I have random failures selected, I am hoping that none of those failures will happen during this flight. We are currently parked at Edinburgh, and we will be departing from runway 24 to our destination Belfast. We will have 101 passengers on board, and I need to remember how to program and set up this aircraft from a cold and dark state. Thanks for joining me in this flight. We are wearing Flybe colors and our flight number is 2810, and we will be setting up the aircraft here in a little bit. Alright, welcome to the cockpit of 146 Professional. As you see, we have GSX showing our departure time and flight number here. 27 minutes before departure. 10:20 is our set departure time. We are departing runway 24 via Gosan 1 Charlie, I believe. Gosan 1 Charlie departure, that's also displayed here. Alright. As I said, let's take a look at the EFB first. We now have failures here. I have selected random, but I'm not gonna arm anything. I don't want any failures because I don't know what to do right now. We will call ground power through the EFB. GSX ground power is not working as good as this one. And we will also pull some charts for our departure airport. There we go. Our SID, Gosan 1 Charlie. We can keep the SID here, and we can bookmark this. We can also take a look at the taxi charts for the airport, which should be this guy here, and we'll bookmark this too. That's good for our departure, and I'm not sure if we will be able to see the aircraft. Was it this? Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's our aircraft. Runway 24, departing from there, and we'll talk all about this here in a little bit. We can also go and call in our SimBrief flight plan. That will show us the basics here. We can get the METAR information to set our altimeters, and we'll have the full OFP here. But thanks to Just Flight, when we go to the aircraft, it will ask us to import the flight plan. Let's say import 101 passengers, roughly 4,400 kilograms of fuel, and 680 kilograms of cargo is scheduled for our flight today. Alright, let's start with powering up the aircraft, and then we will talk about the other stuff when the time comes. I'm setting my controller. Alright. First things first, we'll turn the battery master 1 and 2 on. That will give us battery power. Our battery voltages are looking good. We'll go to the upper overhead, and nav lights are here. We will turn our nav lights to on position. We'll also arm the cabin emergency lights and put the nose making lights to auto. We, as I said, have ground power available. We'll turn on the ground power here in a little bit after doing a couple checks. Fuel pumps are off. Wipers are off. Landing gear is down, 3 green. Weather radar is off. Flaps and speed brakes are retracted. Parking brake is set. And I think that's all we need to check. We can turn the ground power on. We can turn on the AC on DC bus ties and arm the standby generators and inverters, and we can turn on the galley power. I usually do this part of the flow, but let's just do our flow from left to right, bottom to top. Fuel pumps will stay off. Standby pumps will in the norm position, will stay in the norm position. Center tank transfer is shut now. We can turn it to auto if we want to. That will transfer fuel from the center tanks, but each engine is fed from one of the tanks, so we should be fine there. Crossfeed is shut. Engine hydraulic pumps are off. DC and AC hydraulic pumps are in the off position, although there's something wrong with this DC pump. Let me know what your experience is, but in the first release, turning on the DC pump was pressurizing the systems. It appears that it's not doing it anymore. AC pump, on the other hand, works just fine, as you see, and PTU works fine too. That's our hydraulic systems checked. And we can turn the AC pump off. Brake fans will go to auto. Anti-skid is on. Yellow and green lift spoilers are on. And a little bit of here, yaw damper master 1 and 2, autopilot master and avionic masters can come on. That's the left, top to bottom, bottom to top. Middle, generators will remain off. APU generator will remain off until we fire up the APU. Bus ties, as we have completed this, there's nothing to do here. And there's nothing to do here. Back to bottom. Flight deck emergency lights can be armed. Wipers are in the off position. Seatbelt sign can be turned on because we have fuel. Engine anti-ice stays on. Engine start panel will remain in its current state. APU start panel as well, and there is nothing up top. Down below, we'll turn the ice detection switch to on. Window heat comes on. We'll set our cruising altitude. I think we are going, let me see the OFP. I think it was 18,000 feet, but let me double check. Yep, 18,000 feet. That's set to 18,000. Our pressurization panel is set. Up here, air conditioning will stay off until the APU is up and running. And we can complete some of our ground tests. Engine overspeed test. It seems like this is not sounding the horn. I'm not sure why. But when you press, let me just do this again, you should see the overspeed over here and it should go off. Engine fire tests. They are all working fine, and I think it makes sense to complete this. Now we have the failures. APU fire, APU overspeed, that should be down below, yes. And fire extinguisher test, smoke detection, and we have to arm the warning system. Stall warning and stick shaker. Zone loops, those are the air supply. Yep, all looking good. Speed warning. Anti-skid, yellow and green, fault test. It should be over here, right? Let's try that again. I'm still learning this stuff. And squib, I believe, is this one. But looks like all our systems are working as they should. And we are done with the overhead. Let's clear that warning and let's start boarding our passengers actually. Let's
Boarding
request
requested.
boarding. We should get going. When the boarding is done, we'll turn our flight directors to on. We'll turn our nav radios on. We'll complete a test for VOR DME, but I probably have to turn it on first. Now we have the test running and working. Flight initiation test performed. Everything is looking good. And then the lights test. All looking good here. We can get some
Do you want to board crew?
lights. We can
Crew
just
boarding
board
starting.
the crew. Adjusting my lights now, even though it's bright outside. Turning on my radios. Weather radar to standby. And let's check the MEDAR and set our altimeter. Current QNH is 1025. 30.27. Let's set that to 1025. That's set now. We'll switch to RNAV because we will be following a GPS flight plan. And the rest is turning the TMS on, running a test, and setting our target temperature for our departure. We will derate the engines to something like 45 degrees TREF, select takeoff, and click the placard that will set our bugs and our speed bugs as well. We can turn off the TMS for now, and we are ready to program our FMC while the boarding is going on. Position initialization doesn't work here, so we'll just straight go into the flight plan. Our routing for today's flight, let me just check my flight plan here real quick, and I can also take a look at the EFB and move down to our routing. Echo Golf Papa Hotel is our origin. Our destination is Echo Golf Alpha Alpha. Our flight number is B2810. We are departing from runway 24 via Gosa 1 Charlie.
Your crew has boarded. Passengers boarding starting.
And we'll go to the flight plan. That's good. Next page, from Gosa, we are taking an airway Papa 600 to Balaka, direct to Belzoo, and direct to Belfast. So Papa 600 to Balaka. Let's wait for this to appear. This SMS is kind of slow. Hopefully in the next update the new FMC is coming. Just Flight announced that it shouldn't take more than 2 weeks. Hopefully in about 2 weeks we will get the original FMC that was in the real life counterpart of 146. So that's Balaka, our next waypoint, from one taking the airway and then direct to Belzoo. Select that, and from there we are going direct to Belfast. We are going to do a VOR DME approach to runway 07 via Bell 1 transition. It doesn't display the numbers here, but this one is Bell 1, the other one was Bell 2. And we will execute our flight plan, go to the legs page, and check for any discontinuities. There is one there, let's clear that. Execute again. And then next. All looking good. Looks like we have a 6,000 restriction here. So our initial altitude should be no more than 6,000. Remember, this aircraft does not have VNAV. It's hard to adjust this thing. 6,000 will arm the altitude. Our departure runway heading is 241. We will set course 1 to 241 in case. That's good. And we should be fine. I am gonna look if we have a secondary nav aid that we can use for our departure. Let's go to saved and pull our departure chart. There is the Edinburgh ADF that we can use. 368 ADF radio is right here, and we'll set 3, 6, 8 and turn the ADF radios on. I'm not sure if it's the correct way to set this. I still can't remember. We will select ADF here, and hopefully that will help us. But we are pretty much ready. Let's start our APU because we have passengers boarding. Inner pump is what's feeding the APU. We'll hit the APU start. APU should start spooling on. We'll keep this to APU generator, and we should see the APU generator displaying the volts when it's online. And we'll also get a light turning on saying APU power available here. 94 passengers on board. We are almost done with boarding. And APU is almost ready. We should see the APU available message here in a little bit. There we go. APU generator comes online. There we go. We have now APU power. APU air can come on. We can turn on the packs for our passengers for now, until we are ready to leave the gate. So we are pretty much prepared. Let's take a look at our taxi chart and see what we are doing. We are going to push back, nose left, follow taxiway Echo, Echo 1 to taxiway Alpha, following taxiway Alpha all the way down to Delta and Delta 1, which will take us to runway 24. For our departure, we will be departing Gosam 1 Charlie. We are going to follow runway heading. Let's zoom in just a little bit to our first waypoint, Uniform W or Edinburgh ADF. Slight right turn to heading 262, following that until Mavics, and then joining Gosam. Boarding is complete, so let's go and close our aircraft doors, and we need, hold on, let's see here, stairs were even not retracted, so we can close the doors.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross check.
Alright, doors closed. We are on APU power. We can turn off ground power now, and we can disconnect the GPU, and we can take off the chocks when luggage loading is completed. It is also completed as well, so let's take care of that too. Let's close the cargo doors and remove the chocks. Alright, let's see what's the time. What about the time? How are we doing when it comes to departure time? Alright, 9 minutes, so that means we can get ready for pushback. All fuel pumps are going to come on. Engine anti-ice will come on for engine start. And we will turn off the packs when we call for pushback. Alright, one more thing. We need to turn our beacon light to on. That's turned on now. And we are ready to call for pushback. Alright, now back to the charts. We will keep this here. Actually, let's keep this here because we will be taxiing and I'd like to see this.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Okay, great. Now they are going to connect the tug. There we go. She's gonna put the gear pin in, hook up the pushback tug, and we should be ready.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Alright, there is the tug.
Locking gear.
Great, we can go back inside. All looking good. We will turn the TMS on after pushback when we are getting ready for taxi. For now, we are looking good. Alright, we are going to push nose left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines are clear. Start
Okay.
at will.
Tags are coming off. We are going to turn the start master to on. We will start with engine number 4. All fuel pumps are on, beacon light is on, and we'll start the engine number 4. We are watching for N1 to reach 20%. I'm going to introduce fuel using my controller. When we pass 20%, there's 20, fuel is in, we are waiting for fuel flow. Fuel flow, we should see ignition here in a little bit. Ignition, we should see N2 rotation, and passing 40%, we should see oil pressure. We will monitor just a little bit more. Oil pressure is rising, that's good. We are waiting for the starter to disengage. And we will start engine number 3 and do the same thing. N1 rotation.
Please set parking brakes. Waiting
Set
your confirmation for a good
20%.
engine start.
Introducing fuel. Fuel flow. Ignition. N2 rotation. And we will see oil pressure. I'll start rest of the engines from this view, waiting for the starter to disengage. Starter disengaged, starting engine number 2. We can dismiss the
Cockpit to ground.
GPU.
We have good engines. Start. You can disconnect.
N1 rotation. 20%. Fuel is coming in. Fuel flow. Ignition. N2 rotation. And we'll see oil pressure. Oil pressure on engine 3 and 4 are looking good.
Unlocking the nose gear.
And waiting for the starter to disengage, and we will start our last engine. Starter disengage, starting 1. M1 rotation.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
20%. Fuel is coming in. Fuel flow. Ignition. N2 rotation, and we'll see oil pressure here in a little bit. Waiting for the starter to disengage again. And let me see if I have a checklist for this aircraft. That would be handy. At least for the rest. Starter disengaged. Engine selector to off. Start master to off. Gen 1 and Gen 2 comes online. We should see engine generators 1 and 4. Transformer rectifier. That's converting AC to DC power. That's good. Anti-ice can come off. We have a good engine start. Pitot heaters will come on. Engine hydraulic pumps will come on. PTU will come on. And finally, we can turn the packs on. And engine air on as well. We will keep APU air on and APU generator online. I can't remember. Let me see the checklist. After start power normal, select master off. Engine anti-ice as required, generators on, brake fans auto, hydraulics on and checked. Heaters are on, APU and engine air as required. Packs are on, doors and windows closed. Ground equipment and chucks are clear. And let's do the taxi flow. We will set our flaps to 18 degrees. We will set our transponder to TARA. We will squat 1052. It's a little bit slow. 1052. Enter. Yaw damper master goes on. Autopilot master stays off until we are ready to turn the autopilot on. That's the ice protection warning. I'm not sure why it's there, but we shouldn't need anti-ice for this departure. Alright, what else? We will go and turn on our taxi lights. There we go. And we are ready to taxi. Let's disengage the parking brake. And the aircraft should start rolling slowly. We can do a takeoff config check. No horn, all good. And we are ready to roll. Alright, we will follow this taxiway. We can add a little bit of throttle to accelerate just a tiny bit and close the throttles. For takeoff, we will take care of the TMS when we are at the runway hold short point. Let's do the taxi checklist, if we have one. Flaps 18, taxi lights are on, rudder trim center, aileron trim center, elevator trim is within the green band, which is right here. Config check done. Continuous ignition, that is one thing we haven't done. Continuous ignition is on. We'll follow this taxiway. And cabin is secure and warned. Controls are checked. MWS is checked. Master warning system, that's this guy here. Only thing I'm seeing is the anti-ice, which we shouldn't need. Transponder is on. Radar is... I'm not sure if the radar is working in 146. And we will worry about the rest when we are at the runway threshold, like landing lights and strobes, etc. For now, I'm following the taxiway, making a right turn to taxiway Alpha from here. Taking it gentle and slow. And there we go. Looks like there's an aircraft on approach. There is the airport in the view, Edinburgh. And I am drifting off, so I should focus on taxiing as the pilot in command. Alright, all looking good here, guys. Taxiing nice and quiet. Alright. Good, good. And let's see, there was an option here to set the CG. Yep. We are speeding up a little bit, but it's okay. We are not accelerating too much. We should be fine. We are probably going to wait for that aircraft to complete its approach and land before we can take off. I wish we had ATC though. Maybe next time we will use pilot to ATC in one of the flights and add that to the immersion. Very nice. Beautiful weather here at Edinburgh, UK. Weather is super calm. I'm gonna switch to the departure chart. And we will be flying the runway heading until 4.5 DME ITH. We will take a look at that when we are at the runway. Hold short. I don't wanna drift off the taxiway. And we have an aircraft on approach. We have to wait for that anyway. So we'll take a second look to our departure. Braking just slightly here to ease the turn. Traffic is injected by FSLTL. I tried to use Just Flight's FS traffic, but it's giving a lot of problems still, so I am sticking with FSLTL, and I think, in my opinion, FSLTL is the best traffic injector. And what's even better is it's free. If you haven't set up for yourself, I have a video on how to set up FSLTL and make it work, so please go and check the videos under the channel in YouTube. Alright, we are holding short here. We are gonna take a look at a couple things. It says, let's see, ITH is 108.9er. We can tune that for sure. Although I need to change my wheel a little bit to see the radio. But that's the VHF, that's the COM radio. Where's my nav radio? Uh-oh, I'm drawing blank here. Oh, here it is. Stupid me, I keep forgetting. 108.9er. Okay, 108.9er. And we will switch this. That's the active. We can also do this here as well. And that should display the DME, and we'll keep the ADF here. At 4.5 DME we will turn heading 262. That's the plan. And we are ready to enter the runway. So let's do this first. Seats for takeoff. Okay. We will turn our strobe lights on, which is over here. Strobes are on, and then we will turn our landing lights on and runway turn off lights on. We're all good. Let's enter the runway and do our takeoff roll. For takeoff, I am going to use APU air and turn off engine air because we have derated the engines and I don't want too much stress. And we will turn engine air on when we are climbing above 1500 feet above ground level. So let's line up and hold our brakes. Alright, we are on the runway. Nice. Perfect. Let's hold the brakes. We will turn the TMS on. Set it to take off. That's gonna take control. When we reach to 88.9 or close, that is set. We will increase the throttles to 85%. When they are stable, we will let go of the brakes, apply forward pressure, and increase throttles to the TMS setting.
TMS sets takeoff.
There we go. Enter the runway. Let's not drift.
Speed alive, both sides. Power set, flex achieved.
Great.
80 knots, cross checked.
80 knots checked. Coming up to our V1.
V1. Rotate.
Rotate.
V2.
Alright.
Positive rate of climb, gear up.
Gear is coming up. We will climb like this, watching for 4.5 miles. And now, and we are climbing just fine. We are waiting for VFTO. Oh, it's a bit bumpy. Oh wow! Didn't think that winds will be this crazy. Oh! Wow! Very turbulent. Okay, we are waiting for the clean flap speed and following the flight director as close as possible with the wind. Oh wow! Very turbulent, I'm not sure why. Let's trim down and wait for the aircraft to get to VFTO or clean flap speed. Now we are nose diving.
Safe height speed. Select flaps.
Flaps are selected 0, autopilot is coming in. And we are going to start. Select vertical speed. And bring the TMS from takeoff to sync. And we should climb like this, no problem. Remember, we have a sync function in this aircraft, so that was, I believe, set to... I can't remember my setting there. But we can also use indicated airspeed to climb. So far so good. We are climbing just fine, and I'll meet you guys when we are at the cruise level. Welcome back, friends. We are almost at our cruise level. We climbed nicely, and we have to do a couple things really quickly because this is a very short flight. While climbing, I switched to standard barometric pressure. I turned off the continuous ignition and the seatbelt signs, as well as the landing lights passing above 10,000. And we are at cruise level almost. Altitude hold should be armed. it is now. And we will go and start with the TMS and set it to TGT. I set 720, so that should control our speed and manage our speed and keep it below the overspeed range here. Yeah, we have to also help. By controlling my throttles so that the TMS can hold 720. I have already entered the top of descent calculator. We have to descend down to 2500 feet, so, and it says in 49 miles or 49 miles before the destination. Our DME reader here is tuned to the VOR that we will be using for our arrival, which I can also show here in the charts. That's our VOR DME approach chart or plate. Oh, sometimes this happens and it doesn't load. There we go. 117.2 final approach course 052. We'll set the final approach course. Frequency is pre-tuned. That is set now once. And that's set twice. We will switch the main radio to 117.2. We'll keep our heading at sync because we are, as I said, going to do a circle to land. And according to this, the top of descent calculator we see here, we need to start descending at 49 miles to our destination at 1800 feet per minute. So that's very close. We are at 65 miles. And we can use this time to go and take a look at the checklist for descent. I forgot that we had checklist in the EFB, but now I know it. PTU on, pressurization set, briefing complete, landing data checked. So landing data, speaking of which, our MDA or decision altitude is 404 degrees. We'll round it up 410 and set it over here to 410. There we go, that's now set. And we are pretty much ready to start our descent when the time comes. 10 more miles and we should be ready to descend. I will probably idle the throttles while descending and use vertical speed. Let's set the altitude first to 2500. And according to the approach plate, the minimum sector altitude around the VOR is 3000, so we should be fine if we pass the VOR at 3000. If you look at here, 3000 from where we are coming from, and we will be approaching from this direction, so that's 3000. And we should be fine if we can stay above 3000 before passing over the VOR. 6 more miles and we should be starting our descent. We will do a vertical speed descent and use the sync mode. To command for 1800 feet per minute. That's what the top of descent calculator thinks. Oh, actually it's climbed up to almost 2000 now, which is fine. We can start the descent a little early. Let's select vertical speed. Let's arm the altitude. Activate the sync mode and pitch the aircraft down. Oops, and obviously cut the throttles first. We don't want to overspeed. And go and select descent on the TMS. And now we can sync, and that should get us where we need to be. Beautiful. Couple things I just did in the wrong order, but now we are descending and TMS is controlling our engine performance. The throttles are at idle. I completely closed it. It's at flight idle and we are descending very nicely. We should be fine. According to this, we should maintain 2500 for the approach. So I'll bring you guys back when we are close. Alright, we are about to pass below 10,000. Therefore, we need to go and take a look at our speed. We are a little bit higher than I'd like, so we can extend the speed brake and drop the speed below 250 and close it. Coming at 10,000. We can now go and complete the descent checklist. PTU on, pressurization set, briefing complete, landing data checked. PTU is here, we will turn the PTU on. And we passed below 10,000. Let's turn on our landing lights. Landing lights are on. I have also, seatbelt signs are also on. And what we need to do is to monitor the speed and bring the aircraft down. We also need to set the altimeter, so let's check the METAR information. Our destination METAR is 1027, so let's set it to 1027. Yep, 1027 set, 3033, and we are looking good. We should hold 2500, it's armed, very important. If you forget this, you will start questioning yourself why this aircraft kept descending below the altitude I set, so keep that in mind. And I'll bring you guys back when we are ready to execute the circle to land approach. Welcome back, we are very close. Nearing 3000 and 15 miles to the VOR. Keeping the heading synced because that's going to become important for the circle to land. I think we can shallow the descent a little bit more by sinking and maybe getting up to 500 feet per minute so that we don't drop below 3000 before passing over the VOR. That's good. That gives us more time to prepare. And we are also monitoring the speed. We also need to set our landing speeds and set the bugs, so that's now set by clicking the placard. And if you take a look, we will do VREF 119 at 33 degrees of flaps, so we will keep that in mind.
2500.
Actually, I have to click where the flap setting is, so that's now set correctly. We are dropping or slowing down a little bit, so I'm gonna increase the throttles just a tiny bit to maintain the speed and do not drop, because I'm not quite ready to extend the landing gear or flaps yet. So we will keep the TMS at 60% M1, I'm sorry, around 60%, so that I'm just checking the ground speed and monitoring so that we are not slowing down. That's good enough for me. We'll keep it there. And we are coming at 3000. There's traffic in front of us according to this, but I don't see any elevation, so we should be fine. That's the airport in front of us. That's the radio altitude, reading 2500. At some point we should see that displayed here. Hopefully. Airport is clearly right in front of us. Heading is synced, and we are doing just fine. So the reason I'm syncing the heading is I have to switch out of RNAV to heading mode to switch nav so that we can turn towards the VOR when it's time. And that is on the chart, so let me explain before it's too late. So as you see at 10 DME, we are going to make a left turn to 052. That's the plan. And we are going to come from 252's left turn to 052. at 10 DME. So we are at 3.8, but that's going to start increasing when we pass over the VOR. We are at 2500 feet, so it worked pretty good in my opinion, and we should be making a circle to land over the water here. Alright, the aircraft is gonna hold the altitude. We might need some more thrust to maintain, and I think it is time for us to switch to the heading mode when passing over the VOR. Let's select heading and continue on this heading. Doesn't need to be completely perfect. I just want to keep the heading. Switch to nav on both sides. So now the VOR is picked up by our instruments. We are holding 2500 feet, and according to this chart, if we keep the speed around 160, 900 feet per minute will give us a 3-degree descent path. So that is the plan. I am not sure how well I will be able to execute it. We are 1.4 miles away from the VOR, and we are waiting for 10 DME to make the turn towards the left. We will set the heading to 052 right there, and that should align us with the VOR. We can also select a localizer. That should also get us there, but that's alright. And at 7.5 DME we should start descending, so we should be configured in terms of speed when we get to that point. And I'm gonna start slowing the aircraft down slowly to get to flap retraction speed. Just making slight adjustments, not big movements on my throttle quadrant. I just want to slow down gradually, nice and easy, and get the aircraft to the flap speed and the gear drop speed. 5.8 DME, 6 DME or more, and we will start a left turn and then arm the localizer mode. Don't mix them. This is, I believe, back course localizer, so it will make it backwards. So this is what you need to select. And there's a turbulence mode. I'm not sure if this helps with this.
205, select flaps 18.
Flaps 18.
Speed check below 205, select gear down.
We are not quite ready to drop the landing gear yet, so let's keep the speed up. This is good. I don't want to go below that red speed bug. Actually, I want to get back to the white one. Okay. 10 DME, left turn to 052. Localizer out. So now I can come back on the throttles, because as soon as I intercept, I am going to extend the landing gear. But just monitoring my speed and making sure we are doing just fine. Alright, perfectly making that turn, and I can show you if this displays where our aircraft is. There we are. As you see, we are turning just fine right on the arc, and the speed is creeping down, which is what we want. We are already below 205, so when we finish the turn we are going to drop the landing gear. because at 7.5 DME we are going to start our descent, so I want to get the speed under control when we get there. Nice. Alright, we almost made the turn. We are just now aligning with the VOR. Remember, there is no glide slope, there is no vertical guidance. This is a VOR DME approach. We are pretty much aligned, I guess. The wind correction is being made. Gear is coming down. And throttles coming back a little bit more because we need one more level of flaps. And I want to keep the speed around 160. 9 DME. No, do not slow down, please. Good. One more mile to go and then we will start our descent. Set the altitude down to 0 and 7.7 DME. Vertical speed, and off we go. We will command for 1,000 feet per minute or close. That should do it. Alright, now we are going to start thinking about next level of flaps.
Speed checked below 180. Select flaps 24.
Flaps 24 selected. Let's go and do the landing checklist.
70. Select flaps 30.
Flaps 30 selected. Approach, everything is set. APU should be started now.
145. Select flap 33.
Flaps 33 selected. APU start. And we have to monitor and make sure we are not going to drop the speed too much. Okay. I'm still not seeing a runway. I hope there is one. As it says runway 7. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I did not see a runway. So let me sink back and lift the nose, increase the throttles, and that should do it. Yeah, that's the runway. We are going to take control. Looks like there's an offset localizer. Let's disconnect autopilot and take control.
500.
And that is the runway. We are going to start our turn slightly
100.
towards. Alright, we're good. We're good. Puppies are showing 4 reds, so I'm gonna keep the nose up. Alright, there we go. 1 red, or 1 white, I'm sorry. 2 whites. Throttles back. And we are landing. It's going to be a bit floaty. Oh, we caught up.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Close the throttles. I told you we are going to float a little bit.
Ground idle.
Okay, we are on the ground. Speed brake out.
C.
And braking.
Yellow spoilers. 80 knots.
Okay. We'll let the aircraft roll. Not the best landing. And we will take the next exit, I guess. Which is at the end of the runway. We can also bring the flaps in
60
now.
knots.
And coming up to our exit to vacate the runway. APU should be running now, so let's get the APU air on. And let's brake, slow the aircraft down for a comfortable turning speed. There we go. Alright, a little bit rough landing. But that was an offset localizer that I realized later on. We will vacate the runway. Turn off our landing lights and strobe and turn on our taxi lights. And stop here. And make sure we have everything. Alright, that is done. Landing, well, we just missed that part. We should have done this a little bit earlier. AC pump to auto, PTU on after landing. Spoilers in, flaps up, flight directors, we will turn them off. Lights, probes, taxi and off. TMS, we will all turn off. Weather radar, we will turn off. Transponder, engine anti-ice, continuous ignition, which we haven't turned on anyway. So, TMS, power off. That's done. What else was it? Flight directors and weather radar. Weather radar is off. Flight director 1 off, 2 off. And the transponder can go to altitude reporting off. Good. Now we can taxi to a parking stand. Nice, except the landing part. It went pretty good. It kind of is hard to do everything, also talk to you guys and record the video and focus on landing, so that was a little bit too much to handle, and that caused a floaty landing, but we are safe and down, so I'll take it. And maybe I should have disconnected the autopilot way earlier. Oh, there's an EasyJet landing. And we will taxi to find ourselves a parking spot. We will probably... We can also ask GSX to send us a follow me car, but I am not going to do it. But what I'm gonna do is northeast parking. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Oh, I'm drifting. Sorry. Focusing on that and not paying attention. Can we do this? No. I hate this part of GSX. Is it southeast? 1H? No. Let's stay on the taxiway. I'm trying to find a parking position. Military combat. No. Okay, we will find it ourselves. Next entry to the apron we will use and find an empty spot and park there. and we don't really worry about what GSX thinks. Meantime, that is looking good. We can set the aircraft for the next flight and switch everything back to where they were to prepare for shutdown. Altitude is set. Frequency can go back to 108 decimal 0. We'll take this turn. Right, good. And this can go back to 108. I hope there is a parking spot here. Let me see. Oh, this place is packed, but there is one right in front of us. We got lucky. Next parking position we can take. Although it's a jet bay parking position, but I don't care. We will just park there. And take a look at our checklist. This should be the turn. It's 10:13. We will park right here. That's a little bit too sharp at the end. I'm still not super comfortable with the nose wheel steering response. That's maybe a Microsoft thing, I'm not sure, but we will just monitor and park here. I think we should be good now. Let's see how good we parked. Oh, close. We can roll forward a little bit more. Yeah, I know I'm cheating here, but it's hard to gauge. Alright, parking brake is set, throttles are idle. Let's go and check the shutdown checklist. Parking brake is on, taxi lights are off. Pressurization, let's confirm we are depressurized, there it is. Hydraulics, all off. And engine pumps can come off too. Generators, well, we should be on APU power, so let's put the generators offline. Thrust levers, fuel off.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross-check.
Alright, that should cut the engines. Engine air can come off. Ice detection, it's hard to turn off, but let's turn this off too. Alright. MWS, we can pull it out. There we go. Fasten seatbelt sign can go off. Brake fans are on. Fuel pumps except left inner on. The others are off. Heaters are all off. Ice detection off. Beacon light can come off. Transponder can come back to standby. And we can open the doors. All right. Cargo and doors are open. Let's go outside, get ourselves a nice view, and request the boarding.
The boarding requested.
Cool. Alright guys, we are safely at Belfast. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was fun for me to come back to 146 Professional. And I'd like to test the failures next. And maybe record a video about the failures and how to operate the aircraft when a system fails. I need to find some non-normal checklists, but they'll be in the works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said, please give a like if you did. And if you are not a channel subscriber, please take a couple seconds to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get notified for future videos. I'm gonna ramp up the video production and hopefully we'll produce more and we'll be publishing more videos. So stay tuned and I'll be seeing you in the next video.